40 series GeForce cards or new AMD cards are coming. But now that we know that, or we think we know that, should you wait for these GPUs or build a PC now? Well, let's talk about that, shall we?
The eternal dilemma.
People get stuck in the crazy loop of should I buy a PC now or build a PC now, or should I wait until the latest CPUs or GPUs? This particular one is always a little bit special because unlike the yearly cycles that CPUs seem to be on now, GPU life cycles aren't as short. When we jump to a whole other numbering system from like 30 to 40, then you know things are about to get crazy with like a 1,000,000,000% performance upgrade and the ability to build a moon base with an optional space yacht upgrade. Well, let's bring things down to earth a little bit and just tackle it logically. Nvidia hasn't really announced anything officially, so we need to be careful first about what it is we believe. You need to take anything that people are saying right now with a grain of salt until Nvidia or AMD make their official announcement. And even then, you can't even take that at face value. I mean, sure, look at the announcements versus the reviews on some of the CPUs and GPUs we've seen in the past. Look, we know there's going to get uplift. And yeah, it's probably going to be awesome. And it's probably going to get even better with the generation moving along as we see AMD and Nvidia cards that have like their TIs or their Supers or their 950s or their 850s, etc. But how much though? We aren't entirely sure. And to be honest, the rumors are all over the map. Let's talk about more than likely what is going to happen when these cards launch. And this is based on our experience launch after launch and from talking to, of course, anonymous sources. Cards will be hard to get and prices are going to be at MSRP, but let's not kid ourselves, much, much higher. It won't be the entire product stack at the beginning, and I think people forget this a lot. The mid-range part of the stack, the 4070 and the 700 series, usually lag a month or two behind. And then at the very end of that will be the more budget-conscious 4060 and the 600 series from AMD, if AMD follows the same numbering convention. When they announce the 40 series, Nvidia will stop making the 30 series. This has happened at every launch, and with the chip shortage, this will more than likely happen again with this launch. Production lines need to shift to make new boards/chips and cards, and it isn't smart business decisions for Nvidia or even AMD to cannibalize their sales of the newer GPUs, even when customers are angry and they can't get a hold of them. So why is the third point important, Robey? Well, because a lot of folks may be thinking, hey, you know what? I'll wait for 40 series and AMD's new cards and just buy 30 series and 6000 series for less. But that's not what's going to happen. More than likely, given the scarcity, just like we saw when the 30 series and 6000 series launched, the price of older GPUs will actually go up once stock sells out and folks have to rely on secondhand to actually get GPUs for their new rigs. If you aren't over the PTSD like me from the last round of the GPU fiascos, don't expect the next launch to be a whole lot better. See, the thing is we still have the chip shortage. And if uplift is supposed to be higher than we expect, then therefore demand will be much higher, meaning it will be much, much harder to get some of these new GPUs. Jeepers, Robey, that doesn't sound pleasant. No, it doesn't. But I want to paint a solid, realistic picture for you of what's going to happen if you wait for the new 40 series or new AMD GPUs. So given all of that, should I wait? Well, let's tackle that now. Based on what information I'm gathering and hearing about, the real focus for this launch is going to be about 4K gaming and super high frame rate competitive FPS gaming. Are either one of those relevant or important to you? Most folks are finally moving over to 1440p from 1080p, and not everyone is a pro esport player. At least I'm not. More than likely you're not. So will a 4080 or a new AMD card really enhance the experience for people playing at 1080p or 1440p when the 30 series and 6000 series are already incredibly good? Probably not. 231 frames per second on Tomb Raider, 127 frames per second on Cyberpunk 2077. Setting things for competitive, 281 frames per second on Apex or 464 frames per second on Fortnite. That's with the 12700K and a 3080 at 1440p. What would you really get getting 30 more frames on each one of those games if you had a 4080? 126 frames per second on Tomb Raider, 104 frames per second on Dirt 5, 246 frames per second on Apex, or 391 frames per second on Fortnite. That's a 5800X with a 3070 at 1440p. See, we're coming to this really weird point right now. It's like the calm before the storm, where just as all of these announcements are on the precipice of happening, the costs of all the current gen hardware are starting to drop below MSRP prices. 6900 XTs for as little as $750. 3080 Ti's for less than $1,000, and CPUs from AMD and Intel in current gen dropping in price as well, like rocks in a lot of cases. Now, one thing I like about Robeytech Live, it's our live stream channel, is that it's a visual reminder of where we have been in terms of cost for PCs. Most of the systems were inflated early on, with a 3080 Ti and a 12900K system being north of $5,000. With now me doing a similar high-end system with like some sort of crazy hard drive, which is just ridiculous, for $1,000 less for somebody like Aussie, which we just did on Mod Workshop. See, you've had a lot of people tell you to wait, and this has been historically the problem. These are going to be some of the best prices you're going to get on current gen hardware. So wrap it up, Robey. Who should wait and who should not? If you are wanting to build a 4K gaming PC, then the new GPUs are, I think, finally going to be the cards that we've all been waiting for. But one thing I will say, and I don't want you to get burned by this, do not sell your GPU until you have a new GPU in hand. Also, if you're a competitive FPS player, and I mean really competitive, then yes, I also see waiting for 480 series or AMD's next GPUs making sense. But if you don't fit into those two categories, it does get a bit murky. I would argue that for many of us, this is probably the best time to build a new PC because the prices are killer and the hardware is easy to come by. You have so many people out there that are touting you should wait, but I don't think they've done the math because I don't think there's a game on the horizon, and I would say even for the next 3 years, that current gen isn't gonna chew up easily at 1080p at 1440p. Especially with the advent of FSR, DLSS, cloud technologies, and other similar technologies that are using incredible tech to reduce the hardware necessary to play these games at maximum settings without absolutely crushing your hardware at all. I'd say take that extra $1,000 you would have spent on a new rig with the latest hardware and instead put it in the bank or invest it. Then 9 months or a year later after the cards have launched and you can finally buy one at MSRP, you aren't going to be stressed from trying to get a GPU for your rig. You're going to have been playing games at max settings at 1440p or 1080p, at high frame rates, and you've probably made a little cash from your investment, got a few lattes, and maybe even some cool peripherals for your rig. I hope this helped, and I would love to know if it actually did. So tell us your thoughts and more, and maybe, you know what, win a little cash in the process. First and foremost, you need to leave a quality comment down below along with liking and subscribing to the channel. Now, when I say quality comment, it doesn't need to be positive, it just needs to be something you liked or didn't like about the video. Just not, I deserve to win, and can I have a free GPU when they come out, or something else similarly weird or lame. You also need to ensure we have a way to reach you via your YouTube profile, like your email. So put your email in your YouTube profile because that's how we're going to be letting people know that we will be giving away $25 to one lucky comment below that is worldwide as long as you accept PayPal or Venmo. So, what did you think of my advice? Are you going to wait or are you going to go build a PC right now? If you disagree with me, I'd love to know why. Have I given you something you hadn't considered and now have some things to think about? I would love to know all that and more down in the comments below. Now, while you're down there, make sure you slap that subscribe button, whip that like button, and ring that notification bell so you get a notification each and every time we post a new video right here on Robeytech. Did you know we have a live stream channel for special builds and events? In fact, we referenced it a little earlier in the video. Well, check out Robeytech Live down in the description below so you can like and subscribe to know when we go live and build live PCs all the time. Do you have questions about GPUs or other tech-related questions? Then check out our amazing Discord server at discord.gg/Robeytech, filled with other tech and PC enthusiasts that love to share their thoughts and ideas on all of these very subjects. Are you looking for cheap tech? Then check out @Robeytech.com or @Robeytech Deals on Twitter. We have our guy Time scouring the internet for the best deals on all these things from tech, PCs, games, components to televisions. Finally, you can also follow me and my team on all the other socials at Robeytech absolutely everywhere. Maybe not Tinder, but we hope you enjoyed this video and we look forward to seeing you on the next one.